Welcome to the 7th episode of the Herm Cet Show, a weekly podcast talking about all things basketball, including news, updates, and hot takes. Today we're here talking about Team USA as they gear up for the FIBA World Cup, and they have their first exhibition, I think, like half an hour from when we're starting recording right now, so we'll talk about everything prior to that game, but we'll get into it. Yeah, I'm Nate Herman, one of the hosts, and I'm joined by Ethan Sadden. E, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah,
Excited to get this done prior to tip off.
yeah, that's the goal. We're gonna keep it light. We're gonna keep it moving, and I'll just take us right to the beginning. We're gonna talk about starters. I'll take us to guards. We can look at guards first. I have the roster in front of me here. So if you look at the guard pool, if you're looking at point guards, it's Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Haliburton, and maybe Austin Reaves if you want to count him as a point guard. And then if you're looking at two guards, it's Anthony Edwards, Reaves again, and then kind of Josh Hart is what we're looking at. And I'll let you. I'll just throw it to
Oh,
you.
Josh Hart.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards said he was the MVP of camp. Uh,
And
who?
I saw
Yeah.
that.
Who do you think is
A
starting in the
legend.
backcourt?
You know, that's a good question because, there's a lot of talent
Mm-hmm.
there. And I think that there's only two obvious real answers, but it's debatable at point guard. But I think Jalen Brunson has to be your starting point
Yeah,
guard. He's
the
going to
King of
play
New
make.
York.
And yeah, as good as Tyrese Haliburton has developed over the past few years, I still think you need Jalen Brunson, the lefty running the show kind of at
Mm-hmm.
point. And you need to combine him with Anthony Edwards because Edwards needs the ball in his hands as well. And I think that, those two can work well together because they both can play on ball and off ball.
Yeah, I think if we're being honest with ourselves, Anthony Edwards is probably the best player on this team. So realistically, he should be starting. He should be the starting two guard. So that really only gives us the option of who's going to start at the one. And Reeves has been a big fan of Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr has liked Reeves throughout training camp, has run him at a decent amount of point guard. But to me, it's Reeves isn't even really in the conversation. It's between Halliburton and it's between Jalen Brunson. Halliburton, the All Star last year. Brunson was not the All Star of the two. But Brunson, it feels to me at this point, is the better player, and as a physical guard, feels like one that's really well set up for FIBA and the way that they play physically. So I think Jalen Brunson has to be the starting point guard, and the two of them, like
Or
you
maybe
said, are
you
going to
start
work well
Josh
off each other.
Hart at
Josh Hart
point
at the
guard,
two, yeah, at
the
the one.
MVP.
Yeah, who knows what that's gonna look like. Yeah, but we'll lock in Brunson and Edwards. I think we feel pretty confident about that. Did you see opening day of training camp? They started Cam Johnson over Anthony Edwards. That was one of the craziest things I saw from opening week.
I think they said Cam Johnson, he's so lengthy.
Mm,
He would fit so well against those European dudes.
3 and D.
A 3 and D, that's all what FIBA is.
Yeah, he just does everything you're looking for.
I I don't even know what to say to that. I
Okay, I'll just shift us to forwards. So I think the two clear favorites to start are probably Mikal Bridges and Brandon Ingram are the two kind of early favorites to start at the forward spots. But Cam Johnson, one of the interesting guys there that could start
3
at
and
one of the
D.
forward spots. Josh Hart in there as well as kind of a wing type. And then you have Paolo Banchero as one of the two former rookies from last year coming onto the squad. I'll throw it to you, but I'm pretty confident in who I want at these spots as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Josh Hart should be the starting three as well as the starting one. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
you should play
Um,
both spots.
I think the only highlight I saw, from the opening scrimmages where let's
Mm.
just note that they lost
Yeah, to Cade.
and yeah, decayed. the, um, I think I really this might be controversial, but I like Mikal Bridges. Starting at the three, getting some starts there. I think he's
Yep.
a great shooter, and he's just also kind of a veteran presence there,
Mhm.
and he's a lengthy defender. They apparently love lengthy defenders in the starting rotation, so
Yeah.
why not throw in Mikal there?
Yeah, no, I like Mikal. I think he's a guy that really thrives off the ball, which is going to be very beneficial to how he's working
Absolutely.
with
In the
Team
corner,
USA.
I think he's
Yeah,
fantastic there.
that's where he thrives
Yeah.
because we saw in the playoffs with the Nets when he's the one that's being the lead creator. At times, that's not exactly what you want, and I don't think Team USA is going to really ask him to do that. So this is going to be about best case scenario for Mikal with the way the world internet. So I think Mikal is pretty easily locked into a starting spot. And then Brandon Ingram has been an all-star either once or twice. I think it might be a couple times even. Brandon Ingram, very good, youngish player, 26, 27. It is the light version of Kevin Durant, who's been kind of the best Team USA player over the past 5 years or so. KD has been the guy for them. So they're hoping Ingram can be that kind of type. And really, the only toss up, I guess, is like Cam and Mikal. But because they're on the same team and we see them play together, we know that Mikal is the better of the two. So I'd lock that in there. And then if we look at centers, I think it's also kind of clear probably what we're doing here. It's Jaren Jackson Jr., who's probably going to start, Walker Kessler, and then Bobby Portis is on the squad. If you want to take it, you can take it.
Um, I'll just keep it, real simple. I don't think Walker Kessler is gonna start, and I also think Bobby is not gonna be starting.
I don't think Bobby's
So
going to play.
I think when they're beating, a team by 40, maybe
Oh yeah, maybe
he'll
Bobby
play.
gets in. Yeah,
He'll get some burn. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. 100%. I don't even think it's a question. Uh, you know, block monster.
Yeah.
Can shoot threes if he wants to.
Mhm.
He kind of reminds me of Rudy Gobert. The way he shoots threes from what we've
Rudy
seen.
recently lost his 3-point virginity. He was spinning the
Virginity.
news talking about it.
You know, I
I
I
I
can't
don't know if you
imagine
want
the
to get
way
into
he
that.
felt there.
Yeah,
I,
it's Jaren. Jaren Jackson Jr. is the pick. Was voted the MVP from Team USA camp this past week, and coming off a Defensive Player of the Year is improving offensively. There were times last season where he had stretches where he was putting up like 28 and 11. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. is really good. I think we could get farther on the other end and lightly predict that he's going to end up being the best player in Memphis, which is a completely different conversation. But I
yeah.
think he's closer to that than he is to being behind Walker Kessler, is what I'd say. But Jaren Jackson, we've talked about Ant, we've talked about Ingram, but Jackson, because of his both ways that he plays, kind of quietly has an argument to be the most valuable player on this team. So I think it's pretty obvious that Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to start. So that gives us a starting
Yeah.
five that we're predicting. We're going to lock it in of
We're gonna
Brunson,
lock in.
Edwards,
We're locking it in,
Mikal,
folks.
Brandon Ingram, and Jaren Jackson Jr. And I think that's a pretty clear group. If we're looking at guys towards the end of the rotation that aren't really going to get a ton of burn, I think Bobby Portis and probably Paolo Banchero are going to be kind of like the edge fringe guys. I actually think Josh Hart's going to get some burn just because
I think
coaches
so
love
too.
Josh Hart. Everybody loves Josh Hart.
Everyone loves Josh
He
Hart.
just does
I love
everything you
that.
ask for. He's not going to be the star, but people love Josh Hart. He's going to play a lot.
Okay, hold on. Timeout question about Josh Hart here.
Yeah.
When you think of Josh Hart, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of
It's
Josh
that
Hart?
James Harden thing where he threw the ball and it
Oh,
hit his
yes.
face, and
Yes,
Josh
bro.
Hart gives him like the "what you doing" face. Yeah,
Dude, I'm so happy we're on the same wavelength right there because that is exactly what comes up in my mind when I think of Josh Hart.
yeah. NBA meme legend Josh Hart. Yeah, no, he's a likable
Love
dude.
that
The Knicks
dude.
love him. Everybody loves him. He's gonna get play time on this team. If we're looking at the first guy off the bench, do you think it's Reeves or do you think it's Haliburton?
It's a good question.
No bias.
I think, yeah, yeah. Now, I mean, that's a that's a tough question
Yeah.
because I don't know how they want to split the time with Brunson and Halliburton
Mm.
because if they want to burn Halliburton, they're gonna bring him in early,
Yeah.
and I guess it just kind of depends to see how they want to do rotation with Ant and Brunson. Like
Mm.
if they want Haliburton playing with, Ant, I think we're going to see Haliburton come in really early, and he'll come in before Reaves.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be Haliburton 100%, just because he's such a valuable playmaker right there.
Yeah, no, I think the big thing is if they're gonna play them together. Like I don't know if they'll play Brunson and Halliburton together that much. It feels kind of like a
Yeah,
weird
that's what I'm saying.
backcourt.
It's going to be
Yeah,
swaps
I don't think
for
it'll be a
them.
lot of overlap when you're looking at those two guys. So for that reason, I'll take Reeves actually. I think is the first guy off the bench.
Yeah.
Trying not to show
Okay.
Laker bias here, as a Laker guy.
We can't,
But
Laker-based podcast.
it always creeps in. But Reeves, reportedly, from everything I've heard, has been very good at training camp. Has looked very confident and continue to play the same way we saw at the end of last season. So if he can play like that for Team USA, I think he's going to be a nice little scoring punch off the bench that could be very valuable. I'm excited to see what they do versus Puerto Rico tonight if Reeves or Halliburton is the first guy off the bench. Because I think that's going to be really important for what this team does. Because if we're being honest, it's not a super deep team. They have 12 guys, and a couple of them likely aren't going to play that much. So really, we're looking at like an 8-man rotation, maybe 9 if we're saying Josh Hart is playing real heavy. But we'll see how much Walker Kessler plays, because Walker is a guy who blocks with his height and his length. Could actually be really good in an international sense. Feels a lot more like a European big man than he does an NBA big man at times. So maybe
Yeah.
Walker ends up getting a lot of burn. But we can switch out of the rotation and we can talk about who's the go-to guy down the stretch. You need a bucket. You're trying to win games. Who are we going to? We saw it in 2021 with Kevin Durant down the stretch in Beijing, kind of winning Team USA the gold. So we'll see who it is. Who do you think is the go-to guy for this team?
I could say it would be Bobby Portis. I could say
Well,
it's
you'd be
going to be
lying.
Cam
You'd be
Johnson.
lying.
Well, but I would lie. I would be lying to the viewers,
Yeah, that's
the
fair.
millions of viewers we have at
Yeah,
home.
deceiving.
So I have to just go with, I think it's going to be Brandon Ingram,
Mm.
because tatted Brandon Ingram in the fourth quarter, that boy's clutch. That boy knows how to hoop.
Yes.
As they say back home, he's a hooper. And so I think that we're going to see Brandon Ingram, almost take the ball like up the court, and he's going to run the offense down the stretch. And it's going to be, I think they might even take out Brunson and Haliburton like together. And it's going to be him, Reeves, and you're going to have Ant. That's going to be the first three.
Yep.
And then they can figure out the big men from there. It depends on the spacing, I guess. But I think that's going to be your, three, go-to, I guess, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, Ingram has proven he can do it at a high level. He's done it with the Pelicans for a pretty long time as kind of their go-to guy down the stretch of games. Even over Zion Williamson, they'll go to Brandon Ingram because he has that kind of clutch gene in him. And the way that he plays, he can get his shot off basically anytime he wants. He can get it over anybody, which is what you're looking for. That's the kind of ideal guy. But there's a couple other guys. It could be Brunson, who I really like and was huge against the Heat in the playoffs,
Maybe.
hitting a bunch of big shots.
Yeah.
But I think more likely than that, it's probably Anthony Edwards, who quietly was like the
Sure.
best guy against the Nuggets in the playoffs last year. Had like a couple of 40 pieces against them. Anthony Edwards was awesome. He's a really good scorer. His decision making at times isn't the best you've ever seen, which might be the thing that'll hold him back.
That's what's holding me back from saying it.
There's like a certain point where you have too much confidence, and that might be a little bit what Anthony Edwards has. Just 22 years old, so I'm gonna tentatively say Anthony Edwards, but it could totally be Ingram. I think those two are
I just
the
think he
front
has
runners.
that Dion Waiters mindset. I have this quote saved on my phone, and it's one of my
Perfect.
favorite quotes.
Yeah.
And it's, I would rather go 0 for 30 than 0 for 9. Because if I go 0 for 9, it means I stopped shooting. It means I lost confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I live by that motto in life, in every aspect. And so maybe Anthony Edwards has a little bit of Dion Waiters to him, because there's nothing like Waiters Island in the fourth quarter.
There's levels to ideals like that. There's Kobe Bryant, who would have the same mindset, and then there's Dion Waiters, who has the same mindset. And maybe it's more
Yes.
beneficial to one than the other. I think Anthony Edwards is closer to Kobe than he is to Deion Waiters. Um, but
What do you mean by that?
there are there are times where you get frustrated. I mean, he's a much better player than Waiters ever was.
You've never seen Dion get buckets, apparently.
Syracuse Dion, my guy, uh, from the Orange Men.
Upstate New York legend.
Yeah, no, but Anthony Edwards is, I think, clearly the better player, and I don't hate the mentality with Edwards because he's just getting better and better. So we'll see. This might be too early for Edwards. Maybe next Olympics or next FIBA World Cup, Edwards is clearly like the go-to guy, but I think there's a clear argument for it to be Brandon Ingram, especially at this point, like in their careers.
You know, you said something about traditional big man. We're just gonna go off the hook now.
Yeah, off the beaten path, sure.
You know, would you describe yourself when you played back in the day as a traditional big man or European style, or could you be an NBA big man?
I was often compared to Kevin Love as a spacing big man who
Oh,
could pass a little bit.
no, no,
Was the type of
let's
style I
level.
like.
Let's level to this. What year were you? Were you Timberwolves Kevin Love, or were you more like modern day Miami Heat Kevin Love,
No,
or
no,
were
no.
you like Cleveland
It
Kevin
was more
Love?
like middle of the time Cleveland Kevin Love, you know,
Oh, okay. So
where
like
where
early Cleveland.
yeah, yeah, he's not quite as aggressive, you know. He's more of a facilitator, but he's got that
Okay.
sick pump fake, you know. He's taking that little side step. But you're not a big man, so I don't really know how to relate this to you, you know, with your ideal
Do
here.
you want to know who my guard comparison was
Oh, was
back
it
in high school?
Kirilenko?
No, no, no. It's a name we've mentioned today.
Mm.
It was Josh Hart.
Wow,
It was
three
Josh
and
Hart.
D.
They were saying, man, the way he dives for loose balls and sits in the corner. What a Josh Hart like player. Early Josh Hart Lakers type deal.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
like that. That's a
Yeah, that's
a generous comparison. Like people, like you get that compliment, you're like, oh, they love me. Coaches love me. You know, that's the player teams want to have.
exactly. Yeah, like that hustle guy. That
Yeah,
was
the
what
kind of guy
that's
that
what I
wins championships.
we didn't win any championships, definitely not at,
Oh yeah, no,
my school, but
us either. No.
yeah, mine was a little bit bigger, and we still, we had D1 guys on our team, and we still did not win championships,
Yeah,
but
that's kind of
that's
tough.
okay. That's all right. It was really fun just watching like those two D1 big men just like kind of drop step like 5, 6 kids in the post. That was really fun.
Yeah, no, that's a good time. Uh, we can. Speaking of Josh Hart, do you think Josh Hart can lead USA to the gold medal at this FIBA
Oh
World Cup?
yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we have to go over this
Yeah,
segment,
yeah, we
don't we?
should go over it.
Yeah, we should. No, 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 no. What? How do I say? How do I put this in a nice way, in a respectable way? You know,
We could take a comparison to the U.S. women's national soccer team if you want.
we could, and you know what? Those strong, independent
Women,
women, multiple women. They
so
just
many
fell
women.
short. So many just strong. They just fell short.
They did.
And I feel like, and the same thing's gonna happen. And maybe this will kind of wake up and make people like, or not people, because it's not the public.
Hmm.
Maybe make them choose some, maybe more talented, well-known basketball players for future, FIBA World Cups,
Hmm.
because these things matter to people.
They turned
And
Trey Young down. You hear that?
that is ridiculous. That is
Yeah,
my dog
he
right
plays no
there. That's
defense.
crazy. It doesn't matter. You throw him on the worst player in the corner, it doesn't matter. Boy can shoot.
He can shoot.
Facility.
Who would you say is the Megan Rapinoe of this Team USA basketball team? It's not going to work because they're all first time players. The comparison isn't going to work.
Yeah, that's that. I was trying to think of
Who's the
who I
person
was
that's going to
say.
come in at the end and really choke the game away?
I'm gonna go Kermit.
Kermit Wilts.
Kermit Wills.
Sub Steve Kerr and let him shoot some threes.
Oh, had to bail Michael out again.
I don't know. I think they'll be in the running for gold. They're not going to go out in the group stage like the women's national team did. They're going to make it a little further than that. They're going to get to the kind of round of 8, probably round of 4. They'll probably be a top 4 team in the World Cup. But there are a lot of good teams this year. You know, you got the Philippines with Kai Soto and Jordan Clarkson. You know, lighten it up. Yeah, those are our dogs out there.
The dogs.
Yeah, you got Canada with Dylan Brooks as the headliner. You know, a little bit of Shea and Jamal Murray on the side, but Dylan Brooks he wants more of an offensive role. You have Slovenia.
Keegan Murray doing anything?
I have no idea if Keegan's playing.
There's Keegan Murray. Where's our boy?
He's just kicking around. He's too busy watching the podcast. Keegan Murray, a friend of the pod.
Yeah, friend of the pod. We got to get him on.
Gotta get him on.
We got to get him on.
Yeah, Slovenia is good though with Luka. There are reports maybe Giannis plays. Giannis is still up in the air if he's gonna play for Greece.
Right here.
Wear right now
on a shirt right now.
With his brother Thanasis is probably playing, I'm sure.
Oh, is Kostas playing too?
Yeah, maybe Alex is out there. We're gonna get the whole squad.
Alex, what happened to that dude? Where is he?
I don't know. He was supposed to be the
Someone
one.
tracked down Alex, bro. Is he still in high school?
I don't know. He was supposed to be like the good one outside of Giannis.
Yeah, I know. Like he was supposed to actually, amount to something because Kostas and Thanasis did not.
I mean, Kostas won a ring first, but
I guess, but
big contributor to that Lakers team, repping the squad. There's good teams out there. I think it'll be difficult. Spain is the number 1 ranked team in the world right now. No Ricky Rubio, but they have other good players. Spain has good players. They're always going to. And
Ricky makes an appearance halfway through the championship game, and he's just like, "I'm back.
My mentals are good. I'm here for victory."
Yeah, I'm here to win. Yeah,
I don't know if you can do that. I don't know how it works.
So I'm in. It's I mean, you have to. It's Ricky Rubio. He's like the greatest thing of all time in Spain, bro. Like, forget. I can't even tell you a single king or whatever from Spain.
The Gasol
I can
brothers.
tell you.
They're pretty good.
I'm talking about history of Spain.
Probably one of them was named Charles.
I don't think Charles is a.
You might have been British. I don't really.
Yeah,
you're
that
the history
that's
guy. So.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Yeah, but more of a world, not world, United States history.
Yeah,
but
keeping it.
You ever play GeoGuessr?
Yeah, I'm awful at it.
Dude, I'm really good at it. Geography's my thing, bro.
You can tell by the trees.
Yes, if you look at these trees, you see these are actually only found in the northern hemisphere in the small city of Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, so you don't play worldwide?
Oh, no, I can play worldwide.
Oh, no, you just
I like the United States. The United States is probably my best.
I heard that the Dominican Republic has Towns and Al Horford. So if that's not a squad, I don't know what is.
You know my feelings about Al Horford. You know my feelings about that dude.
I look at Team USA as we go through these. I actually think the roster is much better than most of these teams.
A lot of them, yes.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. But yes, we have locked in the starters. We're very confident that Brunson, Edwards, Bridges, Ingram, and Jackson is the starting 5. We've kind of locked in that Ingram is the go-to guys that we're going to roll with.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna say that. And can they win gold? We're gonna go with no. I think it's a joint no. They're probably gonna lose, as the team is very young, inexperienced, and coached by Steve Kerr, who hates young guys. so it's probably not going to
Yes.
work out in the end.
We saw, what happened to Patrick McCaw. He just
He threw McCaw out of town,
threw his career away.
just like James Wiseman. He's a big James Wiseman hater. Benching Kuminga in the playoffs, benching Jordan Poole, who was playing bad at the time, but that's
There's
not the
Moses
point.
Moody.
Yeah, he's benching Moody. He never really gave Pat Baldwin a chance. What is he doing?
Trash.
He doesn't care about the young guys.
It's like Tom Thibodeau. Screw them kids.
Reddish hater, known Reddish hater, Tom
Reddish
Thibodeau.
hater.
Do you have any final thoughts? Anything random you want to talk about from the NBA world over the past
The
week?
NBA world, we have to keep it NBA, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd go off the hook here. From the NBA world. Oh, okay. So didn't like the Bahamas play like Kansas University, like the men's basketball, University of Kansas?
This is
whatever?
outside of my realm. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to take
Like
the
over the
lead.
weekend, my boss said something about it. Like there was a bunch of like Eric Gordon, Klay Thompson. They were playing
Oh, that's kind of lit.
against like Kansas. I
Like
want to know the
current
score of
Kansas?
that. Current Kansas.
Oh, I don't even know who's at Kansas right now.
All right,
But
we're
we're
Googling
well
it.
before the college season. We don't have this prepped like this.
Kansas versus Bahama national team. Yes, I was right.
Why did they do that?
Oh, wait. What is this? Okay, so they played 2 games. They only lost 87-81. It's
That's
NBA
tight.
players. Oh, that's crazy.
Who's on Kansas?
Bunch of college kids, bro.
Yeah, but I feel like they just had a couple guys drafted.
Bunch of
I feel
college
like Kansas is out of like the top like that.
Bro, this is crazy. Oh wait, Hunter Dickinson.
Oh, he
Okay.
transferred
They have
there. That's
Hunter- they
crazy.
have Yeah, new look lineup led by Michigan transfer Hunter Dickinson.
Wow. I'm trying to find the
Whoa,
lineup.
what's going on? Whoa, hold on. He just had his 35 exhibition game and an 87-81
They got
victory.
some dude named Nick Timberlake.
Buddy Hield for 19.
Oh, Kevin McCullough's still there. He's been in college a long time. That's such a random game to happen.
Wait, I think they did they win? It says they proceeded to hold off the Bahamas 92-87 in their second game. What is going on here? What is going on?
Kansas is too good.
Unless
And
the
Clay's
Bahamas
washed.
didn't even. That is pretty crazy. Not gonna lie.
Well, I was not
Man.
expecting Kansas Bahamas to come up on the pod.
Hunter Dickinson.
Anthony Davis signed an extension. That's what we had from the last week.
Oh
Gonna
my
be in
gosh!
LA
No,
for
we
the
didn't know.
next
We can't
5
talk about
years.
that. That's so bad. That's so bad.
Well, no, we'd get too deep in the sauce there. We don't need to do all
Yeah.
that.
We'll save it for the next episode.
So we'll keep that. We'll roll that. We'll be back next week. I have no idea what we'll be talking about. We'll figure it out on the way there.
We'll figure it. We'll get Keegan Murray on the pod to
Yeah,
talk.
maybe special guest Keegan Murray next week.
Yeah,
Or,
he'll hop on.
that
For sure.
that G League Magic guy that you want. But we'll figure something out.
Drake Jeffries.
Drake Jeffries, that's right. All right, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. That's gonna be it for us today. Have a good rest
See
of
you
your
guys.
day. Peace.